How's it going, guys? 13prevail here. I've always wondered when watching people's YouTube videos and stuff, what their names mean, if there's a meaning behind the name they've chosen and stuff like that. Well, for me, there is some meaning to what I've chosen as a YouTube name. Well, 13 has always been my favorite number ever since I was a kid. You're taught by media or friends and family that 13 is a bad number, and there's no 13th floor on a building for a reason and stuff like that. And so I always, right from the start, I always liked the number because it was supposed to be bad or whatever. And I couldn't wait to become a teenager. Once you hit 13, you were a teenager. So that's kind of why I always liked the number 13. So that's where the 13 comes from, my YouTube name. Prevail has always been a favorite word of mine. It means to prove more powerful than opposing forces. It means to be victorious, to push through the tough times, and to prevail. I grew up bullied. I grew up pretty poor. I grew up in a house with no running water and stuff like that. I was far from the best dressed in school. Didn't have much money to be spending on school clothes. I had a brother and two sisters from my parents to support as well, so we didn't have the best clothing to wear to school and things like that. So, not to mention I was the smallest guy in my grade, so I was picked on quite a bit. But I was depressed. I was suicidal all through my teenage years. I always thought I would never amount to anything, and people would be better off without me and stuff like that. So I ended up drinking a lot because of depression and stuff like that. I became a pretty heavy drinker. I didn't want to go outside unless I was drunk, or I didn't want to do anything unless I was drinking. When my first son was about a year old, that's when I quit drinking. I was told, oh, you'll never quit, this and that, you'll always go back to it and stuff. But the end of July will be 9 years since I touched any alcohol, so there has been some tough times, but I've got through it. I've been told, you'll never fight in a cage and stuff like that. You're too small to be a cage fighter and things like that. But I've prevailed in that as well. I mean, I've had 2 fights. I've won both of them, and I've always been the smaller opponent too. So you can't sit around thinking about it and wanting to do it and watching TV and doing something. If you want it bad enough, you gotta get up and do it. It comes to anything really. If you want to lose weight, or if you want to get, you want to build muscle, or you want to, if you want to travel, you want a dream job, anything like that, you have to get up and do it. You can't just think about it and wish it and dream it. You have to do it. I always wanted to return to school and get my grade 12, get my diploma, so last year I finally did it. 33 years old, and I graduated, with a diploma. And now this September I'm going back to school. I'm going to do a trade. Go find a good job in my home province, so that, sometimes you have to sacrifice other things to do what you want and be what you want. Even now I'm lacking the confidence of trying to talk. I don't like to talk to the camera too much. I don't like to look into the camera. Things like that, but I am getting a little better at that. I'm practicing and stuff like that. In my earlier videos I would just use subtitles and things like that, so I didn't have to talk. That just goes to show that over time, if it's something you want and you want it bad enough, that you will prevail through it. And that's kind of where my YouTube name comes from. So let me know if you like the video. Give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to go over and like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter. I'll have the links in the description. I encourage my subscribers to make a similar video, like explain what your YouTube name means. I mean, some are pretty obvious, but it'd be nice to know what it really means, what's behind the name. Alright guys, take care.